We'll be going over Marfeel dashboards, the new and improved Marfeel dashboards today with a little bit of historical monitoring as well. So I say new and improved because we've had Marfeel dashboards for a while. They've always been designed to kind of replace your need for BI, for having these external tools where you can have all your BI, your historical reporting, but then you also have your analytics tool. And sometimes it can get pretty cluttered. I think we've all experienced, or a lot of us have experienced, where it can be pretty cumbersome to have your analytics platform, have your external BI platform, have other platforms, and have them all getting from separate data sources, trying to extract the data from one, get it into the other. At best, it's a nuisance. At worst, it can be a nightmare. So that's why we've always had Marfeel dashboards, so you can have everything combined into one. But now they are new and improved. We're really excited to show you some new features. You can call them dynamic dashboards. You can call them dashboards 2.0, whatever the heck you want to call them. They make it faster and easier to centralize your data, to customize and tailor your insights for the newsroom level to the team level, all the way down to the individual level, and then share information across teams. So the way I'm going to do this today is I'm going to start off by showing some of the new features on some of our pre-built Marfeel dashboards. These are ones that we've already built for you. They're accessible to everyone. You can do with them what you please. You can copy them and use them as your own, or you can make copies and then build upon them, use them as inspiration, customize them from there. After that, then we'll go into the process of kind of building a custom dashboard from scratch, because I know a lot of you are going to want to do that and be excited about that after this. And then we'll leave some time in the end for Q&A. But so let's start off by accessing we have seven so far, pre-built Marfeel dashboards. So you're going to head over to the Workspaces section and click on the Marfeel tab right up here. And you see there are 7 pre-built, ready-to-use dashboards covering a variety of different needs and use cases throughout a news organization. There are 7 now. That's not the limit. We are continuously building more. We're going to be adding more dashboards here. We're trying to make it as easy for you to have success on Marfeel as possible. So again, there's going to be more. And also starting in May, we're going to be doing some webinars going over each of the dashboards and kind of describing the best way to use each of these. So Affiliation Workspace was created by yours truly. Hope you enjoy that one, but we've got a lot of really great expertise going into building all of these. So if you want to quickly make a copy and use it for yourself, click on these 3 dots and click clone, and then you'll have your copy to do whatever you please. But chances are you're probably going to want to go inside and take a look first. So let's click on SEO dashboard and do just that. So as I scroll through here, you're going to see this looks very different than what you're used to with dashboards. There's a bunch more reports. There's a lot of color. There's a lot of sizing and shaping. So this is obviously very appealing. So I like it. I'm going to click clone right up here because I want to use this for myself. So I'll confirm that I'm going to clone it. And then here I go. SEO dashboard cloned. I can jump inside. I now have full editing access. I can call it whatever the heck I want to call it. I can do anything I want with these reports. But let's start with something maybe you're a bit more familiar with. So let's click on List View right here. And chances are you're very familiar with this. This looks like most standard workspaces. You've got all your links to the different reports you've put in here. You have the tools where they came from, who created the report, so on and so forth. Then you click over here on dashboard mode, and this is where things are going to look very, very different for you. The only thing that might look familiar is this right here. So this is a visualized representation of an Explore report. So previous Marfeel dashboards, you could visualize Explore reports in dashboard mode, but you could only do it from that one tool. So it was just one. Now you can do it with reports from 7 tools. You can do it with Explore, Compass, Optimize, Core Web Vitals, Recirculation, and then also Discover Monitoring and Social Monitoring. So let's go over some of those. We see right here, this is a Compass report. Top Google search traffic. Let me scroll on through. Great, I can take a look and I can access this report anytime I want by clicking the title. Here's another Compass report. Okay, see how it's a very different look than the Explore reports. Believe it or not, these 3 cards up here are Explore reports. So they're just being visualized as KPIs. We've made it so if your Explore report is just looking at metrics, so it's not grouping anything, it's just looking at metrics, you can see it as a KPI, which is really helpful to have as information at the top of a dashboard. So for instance, our Google News traffic, this is the traffic for this current time period compared to the preceding time period. Okay, if we scroll on down, we get to here. The optimized report success team gives me a hard time because I love optimized reports. I worked for a long time at Gannett Properties, mostly at the Des Moines Register. I would have used Optimize all the time. I love it. It's one of my favorite tools. So I am very, very glad that this is now incorporated into dashboards. And you can also see there's different ways to visualize Explore reports. It isn't just a time series chart anymore. So I'll go much more into this later, but for now, if you click on the three dots, you can see different ways to display the information. So if I want to change the chart, I click here and I have all these different options: none, area chart, bar chart, funnel chart, pie chart, pivot chart, scatter chart, brand new. We'll get into that in a little bit. You're going to see it for the first time, and time series. So maybe I might want to change this to a bar chart. Okay, looks good. Let's keep scrolling. We have another compass report, a couple more Explore reports shown as KPIs. Keep going down. We have an Explore report as a time series, Explore report as a time series. Now we get to the Discover Monitoring component. These are two Discover Monitoring boards, okay? And they fit in seamlessly with all our reports from all our other tools within these dashboards. You can see that this is from the Sun, from Forbes. So this is Discover Monitoring data. This is other people's data within your own dashboard, which is really, really cool. Keep scrolling down, a couple more optimized reports, and then we get to the core web vitals. Okay, so we can already see there's a big difference with Marfeel dashboards just by having the new tools that you can add reports from. Again, it's 7: Compass, Explore, Optimize, Core Web Vitals, Recirculation, Discover Monitoring, and Social Monitoring. This next new feature is probably my favorite, and I think it's an absolute game changer for team workflow and team organization. And that's this filter bar right here, where you can apply any filters instantaneously to every single report in this dashboard, or this date picker right here, where you can apply a uniform date range to every single report in the dashboard. The reason that this is a game changer is because, say I really like this dashboard and I'm running a newsroom and I want to use it for the entire newsroom. But I also want, say, my sports editor or my politics editor to be getting the exact same type of analysis. Previously, I would have had to have shared my dashboard with them, and then they would have had to have jumped in and kind of made their own tinkerings with my dashboard and then make sure they weren't permanent, stuff that didn't really exactly work. Or they'd have to build their own reports on their own, try to model it after mine, set all the different filters within each individual report, save them, then create their own dashboard. It would take time. It wasn't impossible, but it would take time. Now, I clone this sucker a couple times, send each one to my sports and politics editor, and say, just use the filters and literally tailor this exactly to your section, your specific needs. So watch this. I go up here. It's just like the filter bar in Compass. I'm going to type in section, filter by section, sports, confirm, and within a second, every single report in this dashboard is now showing sports content. Sports Compass reports, sports traffic evolution, sports optimize, sports evergreen. Everything changes to reflect the filter. It's not a piece-by-piece solution anymore. It's an all-encompassing solution. Let's try politics. Politics section. Watch in a second. Everything changes to now show politics content. And this can go further than just section. What if I want to add other filters? Maybe I just want to see politics section, but only from my most loyal readers. Super easy to do. Loyal, lover, confirm. And now everything changes for just my loyal and lover readers in politics. And the same thing applies for applying a date range. Okay. Right now, all the reports are set to default to the time frame that they were saved as. But I could do a uniform time frame to apply to each and every one. So let's do last 30 days. Click apply and watch everything change within about a second and a half. This is now everything for the last 30 days. So again, this is a game changer because it reduces the need to build a bunch of different dashboards tailored to each specific team's need. You build one, okay? Then you clone, share it with different people, and then they now have this cloned version that they can just use the filters with, date ranges, play around and get the exact analysis that they're looking for. It reduces so much time and effort, it's not even funny. And one important thing to note is that any filters that you set or any date ranges you set is for the current session. So it's not like you're altering the dashboard and then you have to go back and redo those changes. Like if I hop out of this dashboard, Now I jump back in. We can see everything is reset. Okay. So it's just for your current session, which makes it a bit easier. More things you can do. I told you we would discuss these three dots. Okay. So let's click on it. Some different options. Go to report. Pretty straightforward. It will take me directly to the report so I can go in there, jump inside, edit it, get some really deep dive analysis if I want to. Move to. Okay, so this is if maybe this report is great, but it might not make sense in this current dashboard. Maybe I want to move it to another one of my dashboards. So all I need to do is click Move to, select the other dashboard, and move it. I no longer need to build a separate report, save it to that separate dashboard, and basically repeat the whole process. I just click Move and it's done. Now that will remove this report from this dashboard and move it to the other one. Or there's another option of Clone to. Now this won't remove it from your current dashboard. It'll instead send a copy to another one. So this is great. If I know this report is super helpful for me, I know my colleague Felipe would really benefit from this report as well. So I'm just going to clone this and send it to Felipe's dashboard. Okay. And then you clone over there. That way I don't have to send him a message on Slack saying, hey, see this report? It's really cool. Here's how you build it. Go ahead and do it. No, I just send it right away and it goes straight to him. You also have ways to change the display, as we went over a little bit earlier. So this is time series right now, but maybe I want to see this as an area chart. Okay, cool. I can also choose to display a table or not. Right now, there is no table of information being shown. I can switch it to show a table. Okay, that's a bit more helpful for me. I can get some more quick insights just from this dashboard. If I scroll on down, if I get to a compass report like this, I can choose to add a KPI with predictive analytics up at the top. So I click on the three dots. We see chart is none, but I can add a KPI. And there it is. Here's your predictive analytics, just like you would see in Compass. Remember how I said that these are Explore reports shown as KPIs? You can see right here, KPI. So if I change this to a time series, you'd see what it would look like. And we can now expand this size a little bit, which you're able to do. You can move these around and change the size as much as you'd like. So you see this is what that chart looks like as a time series. But I'll go ahead and switch it back to KPI because I think that's much more helpful. So we'll go back to KPI and we'll convert this back down to the regular size. Scroll on down. I like the way this looks, don't need to change it. This one here, this is for top keyword opportunities. So maybe I don't care as much about the chart. Maybe I just want to get straight to the data and the chart might just distract me. So let's go to the three dots, chart, none. There you go. Now I get straight to the keywords. Okay, these are my keyword opportunities. Here's the page title where that opportunity is. Here's the day since last update. Man, this has been updated a long time. Let's get right on that one. Okay. Scroll on down. You got your Discover monitoring boards looking fantastic. Got your optimized boards. And here's an example. Maybe I don't want LCP, so I'll just delete this. So here's the option to delete as well. And now I can expand this size out just like that. Something else you've probably noticed are these little text cards, like this one, or even this one, so on and so forth. These are great ways to insert instructions or context for the reports that the users of your dashboard are going to be looking at. Super, super helpful because a creator of the dashboard knows what everything is for. But if other people are going to be using that dashboard, it might be helpful to have some context or instructions. So that's super easy to add. You click Add Text Card right down here. You write in whatever you want. Hello, yay, world. And you can move that anywhere you'd like it to move. Okay. One more cool thing I want to show about text cards is that you can also add links within these text cards. So that way, if you want to direct somebody to a certain tool on the platform, they can go directly there. You don't have to worry about them trying to find it. So let me hop over to a different pre-built dashboard to show you that. So we're going to go to the social media dashboard. This is another one you can totally use. This is yours to do with whatever you please. I'll scroll down. You can see a few different types of different reports. But then here we are to this text card, and the Marfeel Cast tool is linked. So this is really helpful because it's saying you can view traffic distribution for our main social networks, how it evolves over time using this dashboard. But to assess if it's healthy, hey, you might want to head over to the Marfeel Cast tool. So instead of just saying, go to the Marfeel Cast tool and hoping that the user knows how to find it, which by the way, It's right here over the flame, Marfeel cast. But by adding a link, you eliminate that worry. You eliminate the guesswork. You click right here, open link, and you're taken directly to the tool. Okay, so it makes it much easier, the workflow for anybody using that dashboard. Okay, so that were some of the new features shown on some of our pre-built dashboards. Again, there are 7 that you can clone and do whatever you want to do with them. There's going to be more than 7. We're continuously adding more, and we're going to be starting webinars on those dashboards starting, I believe, in May to be able to give you more in-depth insights into how to use them. But now that we've gone over the pre-built ones, you're going to want to be building your own too. You're going to want to be building custom dashboards from scratch, or you're going to want to take your dashboards that have already been built and then now use the new features and really customize them from there. So we're going to review something that probably a lot of you already know, but it's great to show just from the beginning. We're just going to start building a dashboard from scratch. So to do that, you head over to the workspaces section. You click right here on new workspace, and we'll call this the dashboard home because it's going to be the home for our new dashboard. Okay. Now you got a few settings options here. Data access, you get 2 different choices. Inherit workspace creator permissions means that no matter what permission level the viewer of your dashboard is, they're going to see it the same way you do. So in other words, if I'm an admin and I create a dashboard and I include explore and optimize reports in that dashboard, normally someone with a viewer permission wouldn't be able to see explore and optimize reports. However, if I say inherit workspace creator permissions, that viewer would be able to see the explore and optimize reports in my dashboard. They wouldn't be able to edit them or change them, but they could still see them. Restrict to user permissions, meanwhile, would make it so they don't see the explore and optimize reports. They would only see what they are allowed to see. And also, if they have any host restrictions, like they can only see data from a certain amount of hosts, then they would only see that data from the certain amount of hosts if you select restrict to user permissions. These next 2, always turn them to yes, in my very humble opinion. This means you can get that filter bar at the top where you can apply filters to all reports at once. And this means you can get that date picker at the top where you can apply dates to all of them at once. Okay, pick a logo. My favorite number is 10, so I'm going to do 10. You save it. Awesome. And then that's where you start adding all your reports. Now, if you already have a dashboard that's already been created and you want to start customizing that, you're going to want to click on the 3 dots next to that dashboard, click edit, and yours is going to have no for date picker and filters because it's an old dashboard and hasn't been created with the new settings. Just switch those both to yes, and then click save. And then that way you'll have the filters and the date picker set up in your dashboard. So let's build a report to put into this dashboard and show how you can kind of start building it from there. Now we enter the historical monitoring portion of the program, my friends. We're very excited to unveil historical monitoring because this is something that was like huge popular demand, huge popular requests. So people were really excited about Marfeel monitoring for a lot of reasons, but one of the main ones was that it allows you to literally and actually see competitor data in very important areas in Google Discover and then in the social media networks. Okay, so people wanted to have that for historical data too. They wanted to see that long term, and they also wanted to see that historical data in Explore. So we've done both of those things for you. So let's go ahead and hop over to Discover Monitoring, just using this as an example. We'll do this Costa Rica board. Okay, so now I could go up here, do last, let's make it a big lengthy time, last 100 days. You can go back on Discover Monitoring as far back as you have access to data in Marfeel. So we'll click Apply. Give it a second here to get all the data. Okay. Now we have last 100 days of data for Costa Rica to Google Discover right here in front of us. But now the cool thing is all this data is moved over to Explore because we know how much you love doing deep dive historical analysis in Explore, and now you have that option. So let's jump to Explore. And we'll go last 100 days, apply. And now let's add our Google Discover monitoring metrics. So we see here there are 3, the visibility, time on feed, and article count. For kicks, I'll show you the social monitoring ones too. We have all of these different social monitoring metrics as well. Well, let's stick with Discover for this example. So we'll do visibility, time on feed, and article count. Okay, and I'll remove unique users. Okay, great. Now let's look at the different Discover monitoring groups that we have. So you type in disk to get Discover monitoring, and we see these are probably familiar to those of you that are already using Discover monitoring. We have the city, the article title, the category of the content. This is going to be your different boards that you're using. The article publish date, the article topic as assigned by Google, the host, and the folder. So let's go ahead and group it by host. And you're going to see that this is definitely Discover monitoring data because we have Nacion. This is the account that's showing this data, but then we also see all the different competitors. So we have access to competitor data literally right in front of us here in Explore, which is very, very cool. So now let's say for a case study or a use case, whatever you want to say, that I want to see how I compare specifically to a couple competitors in a very specific category, long-term, last 100 days on Google Discover. So let's set a filter and let's do a category filter. And maybe let's do sports. Okay. So now what I could do after this is I could set a host filter to only look at a few different hosts, or I could jump down into the table here and select the host that I want to compare to. So I'll do Nacion and then above and below. Now I can jump up into the data table up here to get a good sense of trends over time. So I might first start off just looking at visibility. And I might change this to a solid line. And now I can see pretty clear patterns over time, over the last 100 days, when I've been above or below my competitors for sports content on Google Discover. I'm dark blue, so I was above on December 23rd. And look, I had a great stretch from February 24th all the way through March 10th. I was above my two competitors for consistent sports visibility on Google Discover. What was great about February 24th through March 10th? Let's go back and take a look at what we did, maybe even compared to what those two did, and jump from there. I can also change the visibility if I want to look at this in a different way, and I'm going to show you a couple new ways to visualize data. Again, you're going to be the first ones to see this. So if I click on the area chart, you're seeing right now something called a stacked area chart, where the colors are pretty opaque. But now we have this option, area. Or it's just a bit prettier, easier on the eyes. A little bit easier to read, a little less overwhelming. I personally like this a lot. So we have area or stacked. So a couple different ways that you can view data using the area on Marfeel. Okay. Then we also have scatter chart. And I love scatter chart. For that, we're going to select all three of the metrics. And we're going to select scatter chart here. We'll select all three. And we'll jump back. And we'll reload just to make sure it's working for us. There we go. Okay, so a scatter chart is really cool because it does a great job telling you the effectiveness of something. Because it has an x-axis right here. The x-axis is article count. The y-axis is visibility. And then the size of the dot is the third metric. So that's going to be time on feed. Okay, but you can also change all of those. So we see visibility. Let's keep that as the y-axis. I like that. Maybe time on feed. Let's make that the x-axis. So then that makes Discover monitoring article count the size. We're going to reload that again just to make sure it pops up for us. Here we go. So now I get a great sense. Time on feed is the x-axis. Visibility is the y-axis. Size of the dot is how many articles it took to get that visibility. So we see this one right here, lateja.cr. Okay, this is doing a great job. It's getting a lot of time on feed, a lot of visibility, and the dot isn't super big, which means we're getting that visibility and that time on feed with not a ton of articles. So it's not just a volume play. It means that on a per article basis, we're getting some great returns on our investment on Discover. This host is doing a great job too. Okay, we could then dive into analysis on here. So I really like scatter chart. It's great for stuff like this. It's great for social metrics too. Which type of host, which type of section is doing the best at generating engagement per post on your social media posts. So I'm a big fan of that. Okay, so we like this report. We're going to save it. I'm going to call it, let's do Discover Competition Sports. I'm going to save it to my new workspace, dashboard home. Yay, happy joy. Let's go jump over to it. We see it as our workspace here with the link to the report. And we jump over to dashboard, and there it is. And now I can expand it out. I can add a table, and I can start building my dashboard from scratch. Okay. So let's skip a few steps. We don't need to add a whole bunch of different reports to get our dashboard that we're building from scratch. I went and built one previously called Webinar Dashboard here. It's a very clever name. And you can see that it's basically a hodgepodge of a bunch of different reports, kind of focused on Google stuff, some social stuff, some ROI with Optimize, some social, some evergreen. It's a hodgepodge, which is maybe what yours is going to look like once you migrate it over to Dashboards 2.0. You see here, not a lot of real organization, just kind of all these things mashed together. So now let's, in real time, do exactly what you're going to do. You're going to customize the way this looks. You're going to make it look nice and pretty. You're going to tailor it to your needs, and then you're going to fall in love with it. So I remember these top 3 reports. I built 3 Compass real-time looks at Google Discover traffic, Google News traffic, and Google Search traffic. So I might make these 3 columns all next to each other. Let's do that. So that way I can see their traffic and compare it at all times right next to each other. So let's make this one smaller, and we can bring it on up over here. And let's make it so they're all long enough to kind of cover the top block. I like this. This is good. This is really good. Okay. So I like this because now immediately at the top of my dashboard, I can see what is popping for me on Discover, Search, and News all at once. No longer would I need to go and click on the separate sources in Compass and see it one by one. I can now see this all at once. That was actually one of the more popular use cases or popular requests, at least from my clients when they were talking about what they wanted from dashboards. They wanted to be able to see 3 or multiple different Compass reports all at once so they can compare them at the same time. I have a large client who uses this looking at different time frames. So they have their real-time traffic right here, the last hour traffic right here, and the last 12 hours right here. So that way they can see all 3 of those time frames at the exact same time. They don't need to select real time, then select last hour, then select last 12 hours, which isn't terrible, but it takes a bit more time. So they have this. So this is a really great use case for the dashboards. And I'm not done with these. I think I want to add the KPIs as well. So we see there's no KPIs being shown right now. I'm going to add a KPI there, add a KPI there, and we'll add a KPI here as well. So now, in addition to just seeing my top performing stories, I can see we're doing above average in Discover, above average in Search, slightly below average in Google News. Okay. We'll scroll on down. I remember this report. This report was just using metrics. So I was looking at engagement metrics and subscriptions for search. So remember, if an Explorer report is just looking at metrics, you can visualize it as a KPI in a dashboard. So let's click on the 3 dots, change it to a KPI. And look how pretty that is. And I'm going to make it kind of a banner. Look at that. I love it. So I can quickly see how I'm doing on engagement metrics comparatively, and we're doing a great job. And I can see how I'm doing with subscriptions. I'm liking this. I'm a big fan. Okay, we have our Google Search Health Report. This is looking at some SERPs that we're ranking well for. Okay, and the stories that are ranking well for those. I might do this as an area chart. If you can tell, I like area charts. So let's do that. Okay, I like the way that looks. Good. This one is just focused on keywords. So these are some keywords where I have room to grow and have opportunities to gain traction on Google. So for something like this, I might not need the data graph. I just want to focus directly on the data right here, the keywords. Okay, I like that little top section. It gives me a real-time view of what's going on Google, a longer-term view on engagement and conversions, and some Google search opportunities. Now we get down to some social reports. So this is, again, a real-time look at my social traffic. So I'm going to expand this out, make it a little bit bigger, and I'll add that KPI up top. So now I can see I'm a little bit below average on my search or social traffic right now. Again, this is just looking at the metrics for engagement and subscriptions, but for social media. So again, remember, if the Explore report is just looking at metrics, you can do a KPI. And it looks really, really nice. And it's very helpful, quick information at a glance. Okay, social post analysis. I remember this one. This was looking at my Facebook posts and seeing how effective they were. So let me jump in here actually to show you a bit more details because this is pretty fun. You might not know yet, or you might have already seen it, but we now have lots and lots and lots of different metrics that we're getting from the social media networks that you can now weave into Explore. If I click on metric and I type in social, we get to all of these. So we already have clicks, interactions, and posts, but then there's likes, comments, shares, plays, CTR, interactions per view, clicks per post, views per post, clicks per follower, views per follower. There's a whole lot that you can choose from. Okay. But for now, we'll keep it as I had it at clicks, interactions, and social posts. Another new thing that you might not have seen yet is that if for whatever reason you want to change the sizing of these columns, you see these little black bars, you can now move these around. So this is especially helpful if things are perhaps very long, like you have a long URL or a long keyword, and you want to give it some room to breathe. So a couple little teasers right there of showing you some new features. But we'll jump back to the dashboard, scroll back down, and let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. And I kind of want to add the table right down here because this is looking at social posts, interactions, and clicks for each of my sections. So that kind of sounds like it would be good for a scatter chart, right? Because that's going to really help me see which sections are getting the most engagement and clicks on perhaps the fewest amount of posts. So I can see which section is most effective. So let's click on the three dots, chart, scatter. And now I get that very, very helpful information. So this is my own data. This is a social monitoring board looking at my competitors. So la-di-da, let's put these right next to each other. So I can quickly see what sections are doing best for me. And then I can over here scroll down and see, okay, what are my competitors doing right now on Facebook that's working really, really well for them? So I like that. Scrolling on down, I have a love obsession with the optimized report, so I had to build 3 of them. These are 3 of my personal favorites. Best ROI for engagement time broken down by sections, so which section is going to be the most effective at generating engagement time. Best return on investment for Google traffic broken down by topic. And then best ROI for engagement time broken down by subheading strategy. These are 3 that I just like to include. I'm going to put them all next to each other so they're all nice and cozy. Let's expand these out a little bit. Great. So now I have my optimized row. So I've got Google up top. I've got social in the middle. I've got optimizing right here. And then down here at the bottom, this is a report that any client of mine knows that I love to build this report during onboarding. This is helping you build your evergreen content strategy. This is showing you right now old content, see from 2004, 2016, still getting Google traffic, which means you need to make sure these are updated, make sure they're accurate, make sure they're fresh, okay? So that's obvious to me that this is a list of stories that need to be updated because I built this dashboard, I built the report. It might not be obvious to anybody else who's accessing this. So this could be a good opportunity for a text card. So I'm going to add a text card and I'll say old articles still getting Google traffic. Use, if I could type, that'd be great, pilot to update these, using expansion ideas, helpfulness, evaluation, etc. And then republish. Have fun. Yay. Okay, so I'll move that up right here. So now I have instructions and context for what this actually means and how to use it. I'll resize this to maybe match the size of the text card to make it look pretty. Okay, I think that's it. That took, what, about 7 to 9 minutes? We had a pretty messy hodgepodge of reports, not super logical to flow, not really knowing what I was looking at. And now it's fully ready for me to use. Okay. So again, I can clone this entire thing if I want to send it to somebody else. Or if there's a helpful report in the middle, like right here, I could clone to a different dashboard. I could move to a different dashboard. So there's a bunch of different options that you can do with all of these dashboards. One more thing that's very cool is that if you're part of a giant network and maybe you have multiple Marfeel accounts, okay, so you're so big that you've got 3 different Marfeel accounts and you exist in one, but you have a colleague in another Marfeel account, and you know that they would love this dashboard. But because they're not part of your Marfeel account, you can't share it with them. You can't like send it to them because you don't have access to their Marfeel account. What you could do though is click share and see this down here. It says copy dashboard template URL. You're going to get that copied URL. Then you're going to hop on Slack and you're going to Slack it to your colleague on the different Marfeel account. Then, if they put that URL into their search bar, press enter, they are going to get this exact dashboard template, but populated with their data. And they can do exactly what they want to do. Okay. So let me show you that with an example. Let's hop to our development platform. We've got 8 Marfeel Compass. Okay. So I'm going to paste the URL right in here. And look at this. It immediately uploads. Obviously, this is a development environment, so we don't have a bunch of data, but you can see this is clearly data from our Marfeel Compass dev account. Okay, clearly data from our dev account. SERP monitoring, SERP monitor, canonicalization, that's for our dev account. Okay, all stuff for it. So literally no lifting a finger, no legwork. All you need to do is paste in the URL and it comes right up. Okay, so we went over a lot. So what did we go over? Let's do kind of a summary here to catch your brain up. One, we've shown that you can apply filters and date ranges to all reports in the new dashboards. 2, you can add reports from Explore, Compass, Optimize, Recirculation, Core Web Vitals, Discover Monitoring, and Social Monitoring. You have more managing and sharing options like cloning and moving. You can use text cards for instructions and context. You can play around with data access levels. You have more ways to visualize data. You got tons of different ones. And then, yes, because data is delicious, we've added historical Marfeel monitoring data to Explore. We went over a quick use case of how to use it, but that could be its own training session if you want to contact me or your customer success manager on all the different ways that you could use that data in Explore. So I will call it there and open it up for any questions that you have.
Excellent. I really loved it, to be honest, Matthew, and I'm fan of it. Like I loved it, but now I'm even more a fan of so. And I could see all of the reactions of our hundreds and hundreds of people today on the webinar. So I think people are keen on taking their hands on the platform directly and play with it and do their own dashboard and share it with each other and create like a dashboard community type of thing. So I'm very excited. Also, people like dashboard seems to like long form questions. So the questions are are going to be pretty lengthy, and we have a lot of them. So I'm going to crack on and take the first one.
Okay.
So the questions start by, I see that I can't edit the default dashboards provided by Marfeel. How
Oh,
can I do that?
okay. So that's a great question. Really easy to do. Let's hop back to the Grupo Nación. Okay, so you head over to the dashboards here, the Marfeel dashboards. So what you'll need to do, you're seeing right now, if I click on this one, you jump in, you can't edit it. You can't make any of these different edits. You don't have access to these 3 dots. Okay, so all you need to do is clone it. Because this is basically like that original template that everybody can make copies from and then have their own versions. So all you'll need to do is click clone, clone here, and then you'll be directed to see SEO dashboard cloned. You access that version, and then now look, all of these are clickable. You can see these 3 dots, and you can edit anything you'd like. So clone first, and then you can edit that cloned version.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And where does the competitor data come from?
For historical monitoring and Marfeel monitoring,
Uh,
is that what they're
yeah,
talking about? Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So for Discover monitoring, it allows you to monitor the Discover feeds and accounts of the other hosts, publicly available information on the Google Discover. So it's not Marfeel data per se, but it is information that we get from Discover and get from these social networks. So we're acquiring it from Discover and we're displaying it to you. And we're acquiring the information from the social media networks and displaying it to you and allowing you to put that information into Explore and to analyze that data in any way you'd like.
Excellent, excellent. Do do the reports work with Newsbreak and Smart News as well, or just for search and social, which you focus the presentation on?
Yes, everything. Every single thing that exists in Marfeel can be used as a filter within these reports. So if I want to do traffic source with internal, see if I get Newsbreak. Does Grupo Nación get Newsbreak? Yep, we could do that. Confirm. So they don't get any traffic from there, but yes, any traffic source you have or any page technology you have, like Newsbreak, Apple News, you could do an Apple News dashboard. Any filter or page technology or anything that exists, you can incorporate and bring into these dashboards.
Excellent. And there is a question that I'm hearing a lot of times, a lot, is the speed is really amazing. How do you do it?
Magic. No, it's truth be told, we have an amazing product team and tech team behind Marfeel. One of the reasons that we kind of set ourselves apart in this industry is because we're always trying to push the envelope, always trying to get the best innovation and the best available use for you, the publishers. And a huge part of that is our innovative tech team that works tirelessly to make this stuff happen. So the reason it happens so fast is a lot of work by our tech team.
I agree with that. Kudos to the team delivering at such a fantastic speed. How can you change the market that the Discover monitoring chart shows in the dashboard?
Oh, good question. Okay, so do you remember? Let's pull up this group here. Do you remember how I was showing board? So that would be how you do it, because each of your boards would be focused on a different market. You might have a Costa Rica and Spanish board. You might have a United States and English board. So you would just filter for a certain board to be able to tailor your insights to any specific market. So you'd use board right here. Good question.
Okay. We have several Marfeel accounts. Can I share the template of an already created dashboard between accounts? Is that possible?
Yep. So it'd be what I showed here. So you click share, copy dashboard template right here. Hop on Slack, email, Teams, whatever you use, send that URL. And then again, if you hop over to the different client here, paste it in. There you go. Pops right up.
Excellent. Another question is, can I select a filter to keep in a dashboard, or do I need to select a filter each time I use this dashboard?
So that's a good question. As I said, the filters that you use, let me hop back to one that actually has data so you can see. The filters that you use are for that current session. Okay, so we'll put something in here. It would apply for this current session. Then you go out and jump back in. It would be reset. But if you do, like you could do section equals sports, okay? You could copy this URL then and then send that URL to somebody. So let's say you wanted to say, hey, sports editor, like come look at this. You need to see this, how I filtered it to sports section and now you can use this. So you could then just send them this URL and they'll be able to access it directly. But as a reminder, if you're just working yourself in the dashboard, these filters and date ranges are for the current session.
Okay, thank you. When I clone a dashboard, is the new dashboard exclusive to my user, or can everyone in my account access it?
Everybody who you will share it with can access it. So it's going to work the same as dashboards previously. If you share it with them using the share button here, they will then have access to the dashboard.
Excellent. Is it possible to add links or image in the text boxes?
Yes, yeah, it accepts Markdown. So you scroll down here. Let's see if I add text card. So like right here. No, so I could do, I've got some different options here. I can do different headings, all these different things. I can do different highlights, but then yes, it also accepts Markdown, so you can add images as well.
Okay. How can I ensure I am not sharing information that a user is not supposed to see through a dashboard?
Okay, that's a good question, and a pretty common one. By default, it's going to inherit the permissions of the users. So the creator has to proactively go in and share it with its own permissions to share content without taking into consideration. So basically, the default is that it's going to restrict. Then you have to go in and make it so it will inherit your own user permissions. So basically, it's better safe than sorry, right? The default is making it so it's automatically going to do what each user's restrictions are. But if you want to, you can make it so, like if we scroll up here, edit this, you can make it so it inherit workspace creator permissions if you want people to be able to see beyond their data access restrictions.
Excellent. Um, I I was expecting this question actually. So are you going to create more Marfeel dashboards?
Yes, we are. We are continuously in the process of building these dashboards. We think they're awesome, to be quite honest. We use them in our onboardings. We use them for trainings. We use them in a lot of ways, and we think that they're extremely helpful for publishers too. We've got that feedback as well. So yeah, there's not only going to be 7. We're continuously coming up with more dashboards that we can unload and help you out, make it so you have the easiest time with Marfeel. So yes, and we will also, as I said earlier, we'll also be doing webinars to kind of go over these different dashboards and show you the best ways to use them.
And if someone loves his dashboard, can share it also to other people. So don't wait for us to create the dashboard. Create yours and share it. That will be amazing as well.
Yep.
Does it mean that I can open the dashboard from Marfeel and I will see it with my own data?
Yes. So you'll open the dashboard and it will apply to whatever data restrictions or data you have. And then on a separate part of that, like if you do have access to all data, but maybe you want to filter it to just look at your data specifically, you could go here, do like an author filter. You could do author equals my authors. I don't know if I've set myself to be anybody, so let's see. Confirm. I have not set myself to be anybody. So you're getting zeros. But yes, you'd be able to do that. So if your editor sent you a dashboard and said, "Hey, have fun with this," just go in here, do author equals my authors, and then it's all just specifically for your information. That's kind of what I meant at the start of this when I said it's great for tailoring to your needs from a newsroom perspective, to a team perspective, all the way down to an individual perspective.
That's true, but you are not nobody. You are someone.
Appreciate you.
I know you exist. And that's a question I thought myself the first time I saw dashboard actually. So if you clone the dashboard and make changes to the original, do those changes reflect to the
No.
clone one?
No. So if you make a clone, that becomes its own separate thing. You can do whatever you want with it and you can make changes and you don't need to worry about altering the original. So in other words, kind of the way that I would envision using this in a newsroom was you have maybe 4 or 5 different dashboard templates that you really like that then you make clones and your editors can use them for their own purposes and they can change it however they would like. They can edit it however they would like and they don't need to worry about changing the original template.
Excellent. Filters, and that's I really like this question. So whoever asked it, I really like it. Filters and time frame applies only to me or to everyone that has access to the dashboard?
Only to you in your current session. You're not screwing anything up for anybody else.
That's very clear. That should be a statement, That's fine.
I'll put that tattooed on my forehead.
Please do. I want to see that. I am an editor of a big American news outlet, but I only oversee some of the categories of the site. Can I see the data from all my categories at once?
Yeah, you certainly can. It kind of depends on your data restrictions. So if you have any set of data restrictions, just the creator of the dashboard would need to make it so you inherit their permissions. But this kind of sounds like a situation where you might be focused on a certain group of categories or topics, but you can still have access to all of them. So yeah, in any type of dashboard, you could set a filter to just focus on those specific categories or topics, or you could remove those and be able to focus on the entire newsroom as a whole. So it's very, very flexible.
Excellent. Discover monitoring feature in Explore allows to filter by city, but not by country. That will change in the future.
That's a good question. I'm receiving notes here from the tech team that yep, usually the board matches the country and the board is an available dimension. So right now you do have that if you just want to see board, as we said earlier. So like Costa Rica in Spanish, that's the Costa Rica country. Okay, so that's a board that you could use. But we will work on making country a usable parameter for Discover monitoring data as well in the future.
Excellent. I have seen on the dashboard that there is an option to say author equal my author. What does it mean? I mean, you touched base a little bit earlier on that, but
Yeah, whoever asked this question, we're dancing the tango together. So perfect. You set me up for a softball here. So yes, we have authors equals my authors. So to set your author, you jump on down to your profile right here, click my profile, and we'll select one. So apparently I was selected as somebody who just didn't have traffic at this point. So let's say I was somebody else. Maybe I'm Sylvia. Okay. So this is how you set your author. And you can choose as many authors as you'd like. If for whatever reason, perhaps you're an editor and you want to see, 3 different authors all at once, you could do that. And then this is also where you can set your sections here too. And you can select multiple sections as well. So this is where you get that all set up right within your profile. Again, you hover over your initials and then click on my profile and that takes you right here.
beautiful, beautiful. How can I change the date to decide the period in which I will view? Okay, sorry, I broke.
Good question. Of course,
It
I
was
got it. Don't worry. So
it
you
was
go
not a connection issue.
So you see how the time frame is right up here. Okay, it's clickable. It's set to default. That means that right now, all the reports in this dashboard are set to the time frame that they were at when you saved them. Okay, so these might be showing a few different time frames right now. So if you want to change a time frame to be universal for the whole report, for the whole dashboard, pardon me, you just click on this and pick any time frame you want. So let's go last 7 days, and it's done. Everything changes to the last 7 days. Okay.
Gotcha. Yep, that's good. Can you show competitor data beyond just discover traffic?
Yep. So we have it for both components of Marfeel Monitoring. We have it for Discover Monitoring, and we have it for social monitoring. So we have both of those. So Discover is obviously going to be Google Discover, and then social is for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Blue Sky so far.
Excellent. And this data is available in Explore as well.
Yes. Yep.
Is dashboard date picker limited to only 30 days? I am getting an error about it exceeding 30 days if I try to do 3 months, for example.
Okay, so that's going to be based on your permissions levels. So for viewers, you're only able to access 30-day periods. So that's going to be why for that. But for anybody who has analyst permissions and above, you do not have that limit. It's going to be the same limit you'd have as in like Explore. So you could go back last 100 days, last 365 days. So it just depends on your data access permission.
Gotcha. Could you share with us any report that shows your own data regarding the monitoring of competitors' channels?
So more with historical monitoring, like comparing your data to competitors' data? I'm just making sure I understand the question correctly.
I'm reading it again just to make sure.
Okay.
I'll ask another one and I'm gonna read it again and I'm gonna try to get it. Will those templates via URL work with host group
Yes, they will. You can share it into any account. And you can use host group as a filter as well if you have host group set up. So that works very, very well.
Uh, can can we add different Facebook pages in dashboard in which we distribute our content or just the one?
Yes, yep, you can add multiple boards, one for each account, or you can filter by multiple accounts, or you can group by account. But yes, short answer is yes, you can.
So that was, I mean, there is still the other question. So please, the person who asked, please send us an email or contact us via the chat or contact your account manager in order to answer it. And we will be doing it. It's 6 p.m. here in Spain, so it means we are right on time, like 6 o'clock. This is really, really good. I would like to take a moment to thank you all for joining us today. I hope you loved it as much as I did. Looking at how many people stay as long, it means you loved it. We have 2 more to go, okay? Next Wednesdays and the Wednesday after, we will be covering the 2 remaining topics. So do not hesitate to join, to send us email, to share the love with us. If you have any question to do as well. And we are looking forward to seeing you again in next week and the week after. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And have a lovely end of your day. See you next week. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you, Matt. You rock it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.